The leech does not chase, roar, or overpower. It waits. In still water, damp soil, or shaded vegetation, it exists in a state of quiet readiness, its body soft, flexible, and deceptively simple. To many, the leech is a symbol of revulsion, a creature associated with discomfort and fear. But beneath this reaction lies one of evolution's most precise survival machines, an organism refined over hundreds of millions of years to exploit one of life's most reliable resources, blood. Long before mammals walked the land, before reptiles ruled the surface, leeches were already experimenting with parasitism. Their lineage traces back to ancient segmented worms that inhabited primordial aquatic environments. In these early ecosystems, competition for food was intense, and scavenging alone was not always enough. Some worms began to feed directly from other animals, tapping into a nutrient-rich source that required neither hunting nor killing. This evolutionary shift did not happen overnight. It demanded radical changes in anatomy, behavior, and biochemistry. The modern leech is the result of countless refinements, each one making blood feeding more efficient, less detectable, and less likely to provoke a fatal response from the host. The leech's body is built for flexibility and control. Composed of multiple segments, it can elongate, contract, flatten, and twist with remarkable precision. This shape-shifting ability allows it to move efficiently in water and across land, anchoring itself securely when needed. At each end of the body lies a sucker, a defining feature that gives the leech its distinctive method of attachment. The posterior sucker acts as an anchor, gripping surfaces with impressive strength. The anterior sucker is more specialized, housing the mouth and feeding apparatus. In jawed species, 3 muscular jaws form a triangular arrangement, each lined with tiny, razor-sharp teeth. When the leech bites, these jaws cut cleanly through skin, creating a wound designed not to tear, but to flow. Pain is not part of the equation. One of the leech's most effective adaptations is chemical. Its saliva contains a cocktail of bioactive compounds, anesthetics to numb the bite, anticoagulants to prevent blood from clotting, vasodilators to increase blood flow, and enzymes to aid digestion. The host often feels nothing at all, unaware that feeding has begun. Once attached, the leech feeds slowly and methodically. Blood is drawn into the digestive system, where it can be stored for months. Unlike predators that must eat frequently, a leech survives on patience. One successful feeding can sustain it through long periods of scarcity. This efficiency reduces risk, minimizing exposure to predators and environmental hazards. The digestive system of the leech is uniquely adapted for this lifestyle. Specialized chambers allow blood to be stored without spoiling, thanks to symbiotic bacteria that prevent decay. These microbes are not invaders, they are partners, forming a relationship as old as the leech itself. Without them, the leech could not survive. Behaviorally, leeches are selective. They do not attach randomly. They respond to heat, vibration, and chemical signals in the water, detecting the presence of potential hosts with remarkable sensitivity. Movement attracts them, warmth guides them, carbon dioxide seals the decision. When conditions align, the leech moves. Despite the parasitic nature, leeches are not reckless. They avoid hosts that struggle excessively. They release and retreat if threatened. Survival depends not on domination, but on discretion. The leech takes what it needs and disappears. Habitat varies widely among species. Many leeches inhabit freshwater environments, ponds, lakes, rivers, marshes, where vertebrate hosts are abundant. Others live in marine systems, feeding on fish and invertebrates. Some have even adapted to terrestrial life, lurking in damp forests and attaching to passing mammals. This ecological flexibility has allowed leeches to spread across nearly every continent. Social behavior is minimal. Leeches do not cooperate, nor do they form structured groups. Encounters between individuals are brief and neutral. Competition is rare, as food sources are mobile and widely distributed. Each leech operates independently, guided by instinct rather than strategy. Reproduction introduces a different rhythm. Leeches are hermaphroditic, possessing both male and female reproductive organs. Mating involves mutual exchange, followed by the deposition of cocoons containing fertilized eggs. These cocoons are placed in moist environments, where developing juveniles will emerge fully formed, ready to begin their own cycle of feeding and waiting. In the ecosystem, leeches occupy an uncomfortable but essential role. They regulate host populations subtly, rarely causing serious harm but influencing behavior and movement. They serve as food for fish, birds, amphibians, and invertebrates. They recycle nutrients, transferring energy from large animals back into the system. Yet the leech's most unexpected legacy lies not in nature, but in medicine. For centuries, humans have used leeches as tools of healing. Long dismissed as relics of outdated practices, medical leeches have re-emerged as precise biological instruments. Their anticoagulants improve blood flow, their saliva prevents clotting, and their controlled feeding can save tissue in delicate surgeries. What was once superstition is now science. Still, the leech remains misunderstood. It is seen as a thief, a parasite, a creature that takes without giving. But survival in nature is rarely moral. It is functional. The leech does not kill its host. It does not waste. It feeds, endures, and waits. In a world obsessed with speed, the leech survives by restraint. The leech's true influence is felt not through drama, but through persistence. It does not overwhelm ecosystems, nor does it dominate them. Instead, it inserts itself quietly into existing systems, extracting energy in measured amounts and redistributing it in ways that are subtle but significant. In doing so, the leech becomes part of a regulatory network older than forests, older than mammals, older than fear. In natural systems, parasitism is not an anomaly. It is a stabilizing force. By feeding on hosts without killing them, leeches exert selective pressure that favors resilience. Animals burdened by poor health, weak immune systems, or slow reflexes are more likely to be targeted repeatedly. Over time, this pressure shapes populations, encouraging vigor and adaptability. The leech does not destroy, it filters. This filtering effect extends beyond individual hosts. In freshwater ecosystems, leeches influence the behavior of amphibians, fish, and mammals. Animals alter their movement patterns, avoid stagnant waters, or limit exposure during vulnerable periods. These behavioral shifts reduce overgrazing, change nutrient flow, and affect breeding sites. The leech, by existing, reshapes decisions. Predators of leeches benefit in turn. Fish, turtles, birds, and invertebrates rely on leeches as a food source, particularly in environments where other prey is seasonal or scarce. Because leeches store large amounts of blood, they represent concentrated packets of energy. When consumed, that energy moves quickly back into the food web. Human interaction with leeches is ancient and complex. Archaeological evidence suggests that humans were aware of leeches long before recorded history, associating them with both disease and healing. In early medical traditions, leeches became symbols of balance, tools believed to remove excess blood and restore harmony. While much of this practice was misguided, it was not entirely without biological foundation. Modern medicine has rediscovered what evolution perfected. Medical leeches are now used in reconstructive and microsurgery, particularly where venous congestion threatens tissue survival. By removing pooled blood and delivering anticoagulants directly to affected areas, leeches can restore circulation where machines and drugs fail. Their saliva contains compounds that scientists still struggle to replicate synthetically. Precision, delivered by instinct. This medical relevance has transformed the leech's reputation from relic to resource. Yet it has also introduced new risks. Overharvesting for medical use, combined with habitat destruction, has reduced populations of certain species. Pollution, water drainage, and climate shifts further threaten environments where leeches reproduce and feed. Creatures adapted to patience are vulnerable to rapid change. Climate change alters water temperature, oxygen levels, and host availability. In some regions, leeches expand their range. In others, they vanish. Their sensitivity to environmental conditions makes them indicators of ecosystem health. Where leeches disappear entirely, imbalance often follows. Despite centuries of fear and misunderstanding, the leech remains unchanged in purpose. It does not evolve toward aggression. It does not seek dominance. Its success lies in biochemical elegance and behavioral discipline. Every molecule in its saliva serves a function. Every movement conserves energy. Every feeding event is calculated to avoid detection and retaliation. In evolutionary terms, the leech represents a masterclass in specialization. It demonstrates that survival does not always favor complexity of form, but complexity of interaction. It shows that power can be chemical, not physical. Silent, not loud. Slow, not fast. The leech does not conquer its environment. It integrates into it, and when it detaches, full, invisible, leaving behind only a faint mark, it reminds us of a deeper truth about nature. Not all influence is visible. Not all impact is immediate. Some forces shape the world quietly, one restrained act at a time. In still water, in damp earth, in shadowed margins where life hesitates, the leech endures. Patient, ancient, unapologetic.